So hi, in this next recipe segment, we want to talk about, well, dessert mousse, and basically we're going to make a yogurt mousse. Well, what would you use it for? So this would be great if you didn't, like, say your frosting didn't come in, you ran out, or maybe you just want to have like a lighter frosting on your desserts instead of having, a more shortening based frosting. The other thing is, well, what if you need more puree desserts? And so this is an option too. It's great because you can use it for, regular population, general population, as well as using it for purees. The only thing that we call out is that you do have to be mindful of your solids that you're going to fold in. We're going to start out by making the basic mousse, which is just going to be equal parts by weight of a non-dairy topping and then your basically your yogurt. You're going to whip those two together until it looks like mousse. And then at that point, you can either serve it. You can fold in powdered drink mixes to flavor it. So if you're staying with your puree and you don't want to have any solid at all, that's a great way that you can change the flavors up. But then this is also a perfect way that you can incorporate either trim from your desserts. For stales, you can go ahead and fold in like crushed cookie pieces, muffins, cinnamon rolls, croissants, whatever. So then it's just going to be about particle size. So let's go ahead and we're going to get started and make the basic mousse. So the one that you see in the recipe is 4 pounds of non-dairy topping with 4 pounds of yogurt and 12 ounces of crushed cookies. The basic mousse, we're actually going to do an 1/8 batch. So we're doing 8 ounces of non-dairy topping with 8 ounces of yogurt. So we're going to start with those two. And if you're doing the really big batch, yes, you can use the machine mixer with a balloon whip. Works absolutely fine. Okay, you can see the mousse holds its form. That's all the more that you have to mix it. The next part, so this is the one where if you want the plain mousse, you can use this like frosting, like buttercream, okay? But now we're going to fold in our crushed cookie pieces. And you'll notice that cookies hydrate really well and then become soft and moist. So minced and moist. So this is what we're looking for. And so at this point, you can just scoop and portion it into your serving containers. Okay, you can also pipe it. So your choice. These are great. And then if you want, you can even sprinkle it with more, crushed pieces on the top. This is excellent too. So like if you ever do a cake and then you cut off the top layer so that you level it, use those crumbs. This is a perfect way that you can incorporate it. So I want to go ahead and talk to you about, if you're going to use other baked goods from your bakery case in making like parfaits or layer cakes or other dessert shooters. Okay, so we're going to talk about the texture. So I'm going to move this just a quick. So in this section, you see kind of an assortment of baked goods that you might have in your case. One of the things that I want to point out to you, if you are doing modified textures, the skins in the blueberry muffins still count. So you want to have plain muffins so that they don't have any solids or chunks or nuts. If you're doing general population, fair game. Go ahead and use it. You can go ahead and chop those up. You'll see that we actually did some samples in the cups below. I have like a strawberry mousse parfait with chopped blueberries. And I even did like some roasted strawberry fruits on top. So again, if your berries get bruised, throw them in the oven, roast them off. You got homemade jam, works perfect for this. Less sugar too. So let's go ahead and talk about particle size. So you would think that if you have things like cinnamon rolls or croissants, they don't have any chunkies in them, right? But I want to caution you. So if we have, like I chopped a cinnamon roll here, but again, when we're thinking about the modified textures, we need to be able to smush it. It does not go between the fork. And so that one's actually not going to work. General population would be fine, but not for my modified textures because it's actually too gummy. So while that's a good problem to have if you're on a general population diet, for our modified textures, that just might not be a good thing. So next I took a chocolate croissant, and in this one I chopped it up first, and then I put it through the food processor so that way I could grind it even finer, because I wanted to see, if I could get it almost to crumb size. But one of the things to call out again, because there's so many flaky layers in there, that as I'm pushing this around to check my particles, they're not all consistent sizes, okay? That you do see that some of them, they don't, again, fit through the fork, okay? And so while they're soft to the touch, they're not a consistent size. And we all know that's really important when we're doing our modified textures. So that way, if you need to have more consistent particle size, sometimes you need to dry it out more before you grind it. So then if it's too dry, you need to moisten it. So whether you add a slurry or you add some applesauce, that will help moisten the baked good crumbs. So that way then they can be blended consistently back into the mousse. So now let's take you back to the dessert mousses just so you can see some of the samples of the different textures that we did. We did the strawberry mousse, and that was with the drink mix, but we used that same core mousse, which was the equal parts by weight. So it was 8 ounces of non-dairy topping and 8 ounces of yogurt and 1 packet of the drink mix that made strawberry. Behind that, you see the Oreo cookie mousse, or the cookies and cream mousse. That one, because they're crushed, the pieces are so small, they hydrate well. They do, in fact, press between the tines of the fork. The next one that you see, we actually did a roasted strawberry jam. Now that one is great for regular diets, but because of the seeds and the bulk of the strawberries, you cannot use that in your modified textures. You would need to puree it and strain it to get all of the solids and the seeds out. That's something you have to worry about with the berries. Then we have the blueberry muffin with the vanilla mousse. And so that one, again, we have the skins and the blueberries. So you just need to be mindful which products you're serving with which textures. This last one we did from Floor Stock. We just did a vanilla cookie and put that in there. It hydrates very well. So that one's going to be soft to the touch and will go through the tines of the fork. And last but not least, feel free, like if you have your coffee shop or your cafeteria, this is a great way that you can use all of the big pieces that didn't fit in your modified texture diets, that you can put those together, big pieces, lots of colors, lots of fruit compotes. So it's one more way that you can just create basically sales from stales, and it gives you one more way that you can take that same core mousse recipe and utilize it for many different consumers.